Hi, friends. Welcome back to this episode of Complaint Free Life. This is the last last podcast episode of 2022. So, as I said last time, I would love to share five big lessons that have shaped my life in 2022 that have gotten me through some tough times. And I really want to share and also explain how I have come through some of the difficult times and how I have still managed to be committed to creating the impact I want, creating the results I want. And I really hope that it will be useful for you in your journey of where you are. So, the first lesson that I have not only learned, I would say, but also like really internalized and understood, and also got me through some tough times is the lesson of how life always creates challenges, always creates difficulties, always creates things to go through, things to overcome, no matter where we are, no matter what level of success we achieve, no matter whether we are employed or not employed, whether we're working on our own, whether we're working with someone else, right? So that's why understanding that and understanding that those challenges are always there, will be there, and the life is happening of great things and then the challenging things, right? Understanding that and also not freaking out or not saying to myself like, if it was back in my career, this wouldn't happen or whatever the things. I don't really say this anymore because I know that life always offers challenges and it always depends on me how I perceive them, how I go through those challenges, how I solve for them, and how I use that to become stronger, to become more trusting, to become more believing in what I really want to do, what I want to create, rather than escaping, suppressing, and just wanting to dodge those challenges and not grow. So that's why the first lesson that I have learned and I have mastered and I'm getting better at it, but I still feel like I'm working towards it. I'm working to make things happen. But for now, I have the confidence to say that I have finally understood that I don't need to be afraid of those challenges and I don't need to be afraid of pursuing what I really want because of believing that it will be worse if I pursue, or it will be more difficult or more challenging if I pursue, which is not the case, right? So that's why I really feel like I have achieved this level of understanding where those challenges will be created and how I can go through them. And I can always go through them by trusting myself, by believing in myself, and feeling stronger on the other side, building my muscles of trust. So that's the first lesson that I really um, encourage you to master is that not to give in to this argument that your brain may offer that if you go and pursue, if you go transition, you will have worse problems than you're having now, which is not necessarily the case. It will probably be different types of problem, but also because you are pursuing things that you really want, you also know why you are pursuing it and what you gain afterwards, and therefore you also get ready for how to overcome those challenges, right? So that's why I really love my first lesson that is enabling me to pursue any goal I want to rather than stopping myself. The second goal, or sorry, the second lesson that I have really mastered this year, and I'm super happy about it, and I feel like I will continue mastering it in the coming years as well, and that is how I create my results. And this is something that I can't stress enough, how often we overlook, we discredit, dismiss. We feel like whenever we achieve something, it happened because of luck, because of fortune, because of we were in the right place in the right time, or because of the universe, or whatever the things that we tell. And therefore, we don't really recognize and own our results and understand how we achieve that result that we wanted and what are the steps that took us to get there, right? So we don't really tend to do that. And this year, I have really been laser focused on how to get my results the way that I want to, exactly excuse me, what thoughts are getting me to those results, what feelings are getting me to those results, and how I'm getting it and not getting it, and why I'm not getting it. And most importantly, also understanding what thoughts, what decisions I need to be making that get me to the result that I want, right? So that's why I have really like learned to be very specific as to what exactly is getting me to the result I want and what exactly is not getting me to the result I want by evaluating every time as to what is changing, what's shifting, how is my mindset shifting, which way I need to be shifting even more to get the results I want. And the same skill have been so useful for my clients as well, so that I can help you and guide them through this process of owning their own results that they have achieved so far, how they have gotten to the result they want or not want, and how to get to the result that they want in the exact way instead of believing that, well, I don't really know how, I don't really think it was possible, and spending a lot of time in that confusion, which is not necessary, right? So that's why the second lesson really that have shaped my way of working, way of living, way of functioning, way of helping my clients have been how we create exactly the results we want, even if we don't want to admit it, even if we don't want to accept it, it's okay. But it's important that we understand how we're doing it so that we can then tailor to the direction we want to, right? So the third lesson is really the belief lesson. And this is so fascinating because I have been realizing even more and more that the universe or life, whoever you call it, uh, like gives me always a message that I can't really achieve success. I can't really be successful. I can't really do all the things I really want to without me truly believing in myself, without me truly believing in my goals, without me truly believing in my clients. As if like whenever I evaluate how I didn't get the things I wanted to and how I didn't get the results I wanted with my clients, whenever I evaluate it, it all comes down to how I didn't believe enough in myself, how I didn't believe enough in my goals, and how I didn't believe enough in my clients' goals or clients' abilities, and therefore we didn't get to the result we wanted to. So that's so fascinating, and I also love that that's the reason because that I know that like life wants me to truly believe in my mind and my abilities in my body and my capacity to achieve things in the exact way I want to. And therefore, it's not allowing me to get there unless I truly believe in myself, right? Unless I truly believe in the people that we're working together, and unless I truly believe in whatever we're wanting, we can actually make it happen, we don't really get to that success. So that's why once I know that, then all I need to do is work on my belief. And what's amazing about belief is obviously that we don't need to have any requirements, prerequisites for believing in anything we want to, right? We can believe in anything we want to about ourselves, about our abilities, about our goals, and then from that belief, make things come true. So that's why that is a second lesson, that the reason why I don't become successful is simply because I'm not believing in myself or my goals, my abilities or my clients, and therefore we're not getting there. So we start learning what is standing in the way of believing in ourselves and how to remove those obstacles. So we start believing. The third one is very similar to this one, but it has a different angle to it, and that is believing in things that we want without the evidence is the hardest thing I had to do, I must say. Like 2022 was the year when I tried so many different ways of believing in things without really seeing the evidence for it's working, that it's happening. It's so difficult, yet I managed to do that on so many levels. It's the same with learning language, I would say, where in the beginning you don't really have the evidence that it's working, right? Because you don't really speak the language, you don't really understand it, but you keep learning and learning and you don't really see any tangible evidence. And therefore, excuse me, it's so easy to quit and say, well, it's not working, right? So instead of doing that, I have really come to master believing in doing and creating new evidence before the evidence is in there, right? So that's why I really have mastered the skill of how to believe in whatever I'm pursuing, even if there's no evidence to support that at the time when I'm looking for it. And that skill I find is so like masterful and so beneficial simply because oftentimes we quit on pursuing things when we don't see the evidence in the time when we want to see the evidence, or even if we see the evidence but we discount it, we dismiss it, and therefore we just believe that we're not having the evidence we want to, right? Instead of looking at the long term and then while keeping that belief, working on specific ways to shift and change, evaluate, and then keep changing and keep continuing and working towards our goal instead of quitting and just staying where we are and not really pursuing it again. Because quitting and not pursuing it again and staying where we are is actually so costly because we then don't tend to believe that it will work again because we've already tried, and we'll lose trust in ourselves and saying that we're not really good at achieving that result. So that's why there are a lot of like doubt and distrust that we bring by quitting, right? So that's why instead of doing that, mastering that belief without the evidence that it will work and continue working towards it as if you have the evidence, as if you exactly know how it will all unfold, is an amazing skill that I recommend you to master. And I would love to teach you how to do that as well. So please come over to work with me so that we can work on exactly this skill. And the lessons from that belief without the evidence have been so mind blowing. And I have achieved so much because of that, and I continue achieving because of that. Right. So the uh what was this one? So yes, the fifth one, I believe, because let me just recap the first ones. I have the note. So the first one is knowing that the life will always be coming with problems and challenges, no matter where we are, no matter whether we're employed or not, and how we handle it, how we come on the other side is where it all matters, and how we can expect those challenges to be there and how to master them to become even stronger. Right? The second one was about creating the results exactly the way we want to and how we are in charge of creating those results that we want to. The third is believing in ourselves and how we cannot be successful without believing in ourselves and in our dreams. And fourth is the believing in our goals and our transitioning without even having the evidence, especially in the beginning, and knowing when to change things and when not to change things, right? So the fifth one is exactly this fifth lesson I have learned so far is that my brain will always be bringing lots of different arguments as to why I shouldn't pursue things that I want to, right? There will always be different reasons why I shouldn't be pursuing what I want to, like I have never done this before, or it's going to be hard, or I don't have time for it, I don't have money for it, or whatever the like reasons why my brain wants to stop me from pursuing things that I want to. And I know this because I have like every time I want to pursue something, my brain comes up with these reasons. And I know this is only coming from my, excuse me, from my ordinary self. And I have also the extraordinary part that I was talking about. And I need to get my extraordinary side in that moment to come up and speak for my dreams, to be advocate for my dreams so that I can actually go and pursue, even if my brain has these objections. So learning how to deal with those objections of my brain and also learning how to get my extraordinary side to the surface to be advocating at the same level as my ordinary side is advocating not to pursue, right? At least have them both at the same time and then deciding which one to choose is more beneficial than just listening to one side of the story. So that's why I really, really highly recommend you, if you are in this position, like work towards listening to your extraordinary side more. Believe your extraordinary side more, give it more space and more speaking ability for the extraordinary side so that you can listen both sides and then make an informed decision rather than just focusing on the one. And then that one will be probably most of the time fear-based voices, right? That will keep us from moving, from evolving, from growing. And instead of focusing on that fear base, let's focus on the extraordinary side, which is likely to be thinking about our long-term goals, our abilities, and our desires to grow, and then focus on that, and that will guide you to where you want to go. So these are the 5 lessons that I have studied, I have mastered, I have grown. I have also helped my clients grow these skills so that we can actually focus so much more on the possibilities, on the abilities that we have, on our extraordinary side, on our all the ways how we can actually focus on the things that we don't tend to focus on normally and consciously deciding to go towards what we really want instead of dodging and staying in fear of not pursuing because we believe that we can't handle it. And the more we go out to that extraordinary side and more we develop that, the less the problems become difficult or problematic and the less um, uh, like difficult to handle, and we become more skilled at handling them, more skilled at using them to grow ourselves, to grow our abilities, so that we don't, like, nothing will stop us from going to what we want, right? Nothing stops us from living the life we want to and creating the impact we want. Okay, my dears, having said this, have an amazing new year. I'm here in the village, as you can see, and I will be traveling to the capital tomorrow and celebrate the new year with my family. And I really, really hope that you will celebrate with all the amazingness, all the extraordinariness that you have, and you give yourself a chance to grow that extraordinary side of you, that skills that you have that you don't even know that you have it. But important is to trust them and start exploring and studying them. So come over to coach with me. I would love to coach you to come to the next levels of our growth and to be living our lives the way we want to be creating the impact we want to have that freedom to be doing what we want to and how we want to. With love, 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 thank you so much and see you in the new year.